You know, I've done many things in my life. There was even a time when I was serving the state of Florida as a correctional officer. Throughout my years, I'd done some soul searching, and I eventually came to the realization that my purpose in that job capacity was to help change the perspective of many of the inmates there. So one day, I was having a conversation with a particular inmate, and the subject of that conversation revolved around things like purpose, integrity, self-accountability. Before that conversation had ended, it wasn't the inmate's perspective that had changed. At least that's not what I noticed. It was mine. I'll never forget what that inmate told me on that day. He shared a piece of wisdom with me that he had received from his grandmother. He told me, he said, "My grandmother used to say that life is like eating fish." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You have to eat the fish and spit out the bones." So just like in life, you have to take a circumstance when it comes to you and keep a hold of the lessons in that circumstance. You got to get rid of the things that you don't need that came along with that circumstance. You know, that struck me really hard because it's a great analogy. That really is how life is supposed to be. But too often we get caught up. We find ourselves chewing on the bones, don't we? We focus on that unpleasant thing that inconvenienced us. We allow it to bother us instead of just getting it out of our way. I don't know about you, but when I'm eating, I want to eat. I don't want to have to worry about pulling bones out of my food, but it's happened before. And when it did, I didn't let that stop me from eating. No. I just carefully removed the bones and I kept on with my task. So imagine if we could do that with all things in life. Imagine if that setback in our path wasn't able to separate us from our perspective. If we are able to look at something as it is, just recognize it as part of the process, and we could just pick up our tasks where we left off with them after we've dealt with our issues. If we were just able to keep making progress, man, how much further along our paths would we be? How many more victories would we be able to tally? You gotta spit out the bones. Take only what you need from your life lessons and leave the rest. You've got something that you need to accomplish. Don't let a minor setback keep you from a major victory, because you were meant to conquer. Believe it. Take only what you need from life and leave the rest in the past where it belongs.